Earlier this year, one of the tech integration specialists asked if I could hold a focused session on making early childhood technology meaningful. I'd like to share some ideas looking at early childhood technology and the SAMR model. And one way that we could use technology as a direct substitution would be using a still camera. And the still camera can be used in the hands of a teacher or more powerfully in the hands of a student. A digital still camera is really just a substitute for any camera. It depends on what you do with the images. But if you choose to have a child have a job as the classroom photographer, you can let that child decide when they see moments where some interesting learning is happening, and then they can take that camera or iPod and record photographs of those moments. Those photographs could become part of the year-end show. They could be weekly photographs to parents and caretakers showing what learning their students are doing, and it can be used as displays around the school. Instead of having just one child be the classroom photographer as a job, alternately you can have the camera available, and once you've taught everybody how it works or how the iPod works or iPad works, you can tell the children when they have something that they're doing that they're very proud of. They can walk over to you, tell what they're doing that they're very proud of, and then they could take a photograph of it or have somebody take a photograph of them in the process of doing whatever it is that the learning happens to be. These are images taken in 2010. Sometimes the children chose drawings, what their friends were working on, patterns that they were proud of, or even books that they had just read and words that they wanted to share with their family, drawings that they made for a particular point in time, and pasting and cutting activities. Sometimes the teacher even gets a close-up. With the digital camera as a teacher, you can create your own items for a student center. So for example, I saw this idea online. A teacher had taken blocks and made patterns. Patterns are a big deal when you're in those lower grades, pre-K and kindergarten and so on. If you have the same blocks, feel free to use these images. I put together a tiny URL with a link to the images, and they can be downloaded. And these images can be used a few different ways. The children can try to recreate the patterns and have their friend take a photo of them holding the image they were trying to create with the actual blocks on the floor. And if they create all of the images, then you can have them make their own patterns, and then those photographs can become part of your center. Another way a digital still camera can be used is taking photos related to different events. The Pope is coming in September of 2015, and one idea that's going around is the idea of Flat Francis. There is a website that you can download and print a picture of Francis, and what people are doing is they are taking photos of the picture of Flat Francis in the different Catholic school activities, such as doing work or being in a group. I had my picture taken at NCEA with somebody that I met from Nebraska. And what people are doing is they're posting these pictures with the hashtag #FlatFrancis so that the Pope can see all the different ways that Catholic education is happening in the United States. And I'll have a link at the bottom of this screen and also in the Edmodo group of where you can go to download the Flat Francis. The link is also in the Symbaloo links for the month. Moving from digital still photography to videography, again, it's another way to showcase what's going on in your classroom. And you can use it as a simple substitution where you're taking a video and just showing it on a screen. You could move up into things such as modification, where you're taking the video and posting it to a YouTube channel or a Facebook page so that more people can see it outside of your classroom. And go right into redefinition, where you're taking video on green screen and writing a story that now gets posted and perhaps collaborated upon by other children around the world. So you can take video at a very low level, or you can move into those higher levels where you're working in a transformative way, doing things that were possibly inconceivable without the technology. In one simple example that I saw somewhere around the world, a school had recorded the kindergartners showing off their daily routines. This would be something that you could use for back to school night, or you could use it every year as the students are learning the habits and the daily routines, or perhaps have your kindergartners make a movie so that if they have new students in their class throughout the year, the new students can see what the daily routines look like.
I'm going to take out my folder. I'm going to put my folder in the basket, look at my sheet, and sign my name.
As far as audio goes, we can use our iPads, or we could use on Windows machines or Mac machines the free program called Audacity or GarageBand to record digital audio. It becomes an audio podcast when it is taken from that digital form and uploaded someplace so that it can be put on an iPod or an iPad type device. I've used a website called podomatic.com. It allows you to upload a certain amount of audio for free. If you have more audio than they allow for free for a reasonable amount, you can purchase an annual account. In this example from online, a teacher had the children creating a daily weather podcast that was added to a web page and then also was able to be downloaded from the internet. By recording audio, we can also help our students hear what they're doing in the classroom. For new readers, it's a proud moment to be able to record yourself reading a story. And again, that little piece of audio doesn't have to be uploaded as a podcast, but it could be emailed to a parent as a file or posted to a website as a file. And again, great record of showcasing how the student's learning is progressing over time. As a service project, 8th graders can record audio storybooks for the students. They can simply be loaded onto an old iPod or MP3 player or a current day iPad. And the students again can use Audacity or GarageBand to record themselves reading the story along with turn the page sounds. In one online example, I found a student-led parent conference in which the teacher recorded what the child was sharing with the parent as they led the parent through their learning and the work that they shared. Skype can be an interesting tool to use in the classroom. It can be used very simply as a substitute for having a grandparent come to read to the class. Perhaps you have somebody who has a grandparent in a foreign country or another state. They're unable to come in and be a guest reader, but through Skype they would be able to do that. You may have your school class Skype with another pre-K or kindergarten class. And as we move up through the SAMR levels, another way that you could use Skype to do something that was previously unimaginable is to invite an author of one of your students' favorite books into the classroom via a Skype call. There are a number of authors who are happy to visit the classroom. Lastly, a number of our pre-K, kindergarten, first grade classes have interactive whiteboards. And it's sometimes hard to know exactly what to do with the interactive whiteboard. I found a very interesting video on YouTube that showcases how a teacher is using the interactive whiteboard with her pre-K students. And I have the link on the screen. I would highly suggest you take a look at that video.
For our circle times were probably like 10 to 15 minutes. And now I can hold their attention for sometimes even up to a half an hour. So, I mean, they're definitely, they get to come up and do things, and then they also get to hear things on the smart board.
We will take more looks at technology and early childhood education, but this is just a glimpse of how you might consider using digital still photography, digital video, digital audio, Skype, and interactive whiteboards in the early childhood classroom.